Are you struggling to find a good solid way to transport and store your Warhammer armies? Or perhaps just struggling to find something at a reasonable price? Well, my name is Chris from the Rogue Painter, and that is exactly what I'm going to show you today. Here once again, going to show you my personal favorite ways of storing and transporting my Warhammer 40k armies, mainly army at the moment, but we're in the process of making the second one. And I tell you what, in the short amount of time that I've been in the hobby playing Warhammer 40k, I've gone through quite a few sort of unconventional ways of storing and transporting my army. So number one, I started with these really useful boxes. I feel like this is the best brand. It's the most commonly used brand in the hobby. Well, on social media at least, because it's quite sturdy, it clips together quite well, stacks, and the dimensions are just very good. I think it's the standard 4-litre really useful box. It fits an A4 ream of paper. They're fairly readily available and just are great products. Now, we don't want to just have the miniatures sitting in there, rolling around and getting damaged, because I figured I might want to chuck this in the car and drive 45 minutes to get to one of my other friends' local friendly game stores. So we could pack it out with foam, but much like the old school GW cases, I'm not really a big fan of that. And when you have little spikes and sticky outy bits, they can snap off easily. So the solution is, you guessed it, magnets. You thought I was going to do some like massive magnets thing, but no. That's Polar's bad at stuff's signature, and respect to Pol. So what I did to make this magnetic was use this adhesive magnetic sheet, which is very readily available, and I'll link in the description along with pretty much every other product that you see featured in this video. Note these are affiliate links, so just to be fully upfront and everything, I will make a small commission throughout every sale from these links at no extra cost to you guys. So this is a great way to support the channel if you want to also try these products out anyway. So we apply the adhesive sheet down, and then the magnets will stick to it relatively well, but there's a couple caveats. I found these little adhesive magnetic dots, which I might talk about later in the video, I really do like. They don't stick to it at all because they're not magnets. They're two magnetic surfaces that magnets will stick to, but they're not magnets. It's like having two pieces of metal, just mashing them together like that, it doesn't stick. So you have to use actual magnets. And a couple things to note here, if you get cheap magnets from Temu or Amazon that don't have the rating, or if they're like N35 or lower perhaps, or you don't have the magnets completely flush with the bottom of the base so that essentially they're not making contact with the magnetic sheet, you will get a much weaker connection, especially if they're weak magnets not making connection with the sheet. Let's say you went over some bumpy roads or tipped the box upside down, there's a good chance they're going to move around and you may damage your miniatures, which is obviously the exact opposite of what we're trying to achieve here. Due to these concerns, I decided not to use the magnetic sheets in the end, and so I looked to a bunch of other YouTube videos like Goobertown Hobbies, Black Magic Crafts, Love Dice, and something, I can't remember his name, sorry dude. And I found some alternatives. And the solution I found was to use actual metal sheet, like you can find from Bunnings or your local hardware store. If you're from America, it's probably gonna be Lowe's or Home Depot. You see, magnets stick really well to steel and some other types of metal, as long as it's not stainless steel, because its coating sort of reduces the magnetic properties. And even if the magnet isn't sitting flush with the base and touching steel, you can like hold it upside down, shake it all around, drop it, and you're probably not going to have any movement whatsoever. Maybe don't quote me on the dropping part, but like I'm sure a little light fall or bump in the car, you'd be totally fine. So far, we figured out that magnets on metal are the ideal option. It's the go-to solution if you want something really sturdy and reliable. So what to put the steel in? I thought about all the different options. I could put them in the same really useful boxes, or something bigger, better, and heavier duty. At this point, it seems like it was an absolute no-brainer. Bigger is better is better. Heavy duty is just better. So I went back to Bunnings and spent a long time, way too long, just scoping out the entire tool section, looking at every single toolbox, plastic, metal, and otherwise, with my measuring tape, measuring the external and internal dimensions, trying to map out every single possible scenario, what would be easiest to fit the steel into, what would require the least amount of cutting, because that's right, you do need to cut the steel sheet in most circumstances, and tin snips work, but they can be a little tricky, and you can end up with some ugly looking edges and some sharp, dangerous edges. So if you've got an angle grinder to shave them down, it would be very recommended. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you smash that subscribe button and let me know if you've tried this already or if you're going to be giving it a try. Sorry, my girl is not letting me get out more than like a couple sentences, so she's going to join us for a little bit. The other benefit of this is I could fit like 2,000, 3,000, maybe even more points of miniatures all in the one case. Being heavy duty, it could take being thrown around a little bit, banged around in the back of a car, maybe even checked onto an aeroplane as luggage. So yeah, I guess the brand isn't super important. Like, you can get any sort of heavy duty toolbox and it would work really great. You have heaps of space inside to stick the metal sheet. If you are interested though, the toolbox that I picked was the DeWalt Tough System 2.0 medium-sized toolbox, and this thing was epic. I did end up getting rid of it though because it was just a little bit big and bulky. I've got a Hyundai Kona and the boot space is very limited. The back seats are very cramped, so it was a little bit awkward to transport, which kind of defeated the purpose. The problem wasn't that it was just way too big in general. Maybe the walls could have been a bit thinner had it not been so heavy duty. The biggest problem though was the footprint of it. Being a long, wide toolbox rather than a tall, skinny suitcase or carry case meant it was just awkward to fit into things. So at this point, I was wondering, have I just wasted all this time and money trying to DIY my own storage and transport solutions when I could have just bought that Jucoci or A-Case one for $200 or $300 in the first place and been done with it? And you know what? They were definitely attractive. By this stage, I definitely spent more than that on all these different contraptions combined. And full disclosure, I probably will end up buying one of those aforementioned brands carry cases in the future, especially if I go play some interstate tournaments or something. But I think most of us in the hobby can agree there's just something so damn satisfying about doing it yourself, doing it DIY, being independent, and going, fuck the system. Plus, if I hadn't wasted money doing multiple different iterations of these transport systems, it would have saved me some money. Some. But still, both of these solutions, the really useful boxes with magnetic strip or steel sheet, or kitting out a toolbox with steel sheet, are both great and viable options. So as I said, I did end up selling the toolbox solution and it was back to the drawing board. Thankfully, I stumbled upon Blackmagic Craft's video where he actually showed him using a completely steel toolbox, including like steel body and walls and a steel tote, meaning that every single part of the toolbox inside and out was magnetized. This means even a smaller toolbox can get quite a substantial amount of storage if you're going to utilize every square inch of the toolbox. But one problem, it was quite tricky to get a completely metal toolbox in Australia. Basically didn't even exist here. And while I could import one over from America at quite an expensive shipping cost, the specs with the dimensions were really sketchy and the internal dimensions didn't seem to be consistent or reliable, and so I didn't know if it was actually going to be big enough to really do what I wanted to do without me outgrowing it in like 5 minutes. So I searched and searched and searched for a steel toolbox that was relatively large but not stupidly large, that also had a steel tote that was made completely from steel. And finally, I found it. So I got this Gearwrench toolbox from Total Tools, which was a special order and item. It set me back around $110 Aussie, and to be honest, it's absolutely perfect. Roughly 45 centimeters long, 20 something centimeters wide, and 25 to 30 centimeters tall. You can see there, the lid recesses in, so then you know you've got at least this much clearance from the top of the tote, so that way you know how tall your miniatures can be. This tote is also locked in fairly tight and snug, so you can get minimal moving around and damage. You can see there's a bit of side to side give, so you could put in some magnets into the inside here to fill the gap or lock it into place, which is something that Blackmagic Crafts cleverly devised. As I was saying, the lift out tote is absolute genius because it's all metal, and that means if you didn't plan on putting this down after you take it out, you could store miniatures on the bottom here and take them off as you lift it out as well. This really does provide a ton of storage space, and I've easily got in like 2,500 points of Chaos Space Marines in here with a little bit of room to spare without having even touched the inside walls or the bottom of the tote. Depending on your army, going 3,000 points and above might be a bit of a push, and one thing you're going to find is, especially if you have the tote in there, you're not going to be able to fit in a Primarch unless, what you can do though, is mount him to the inside wall horizontally, and he should just fit. If you want to be safe, you could magnetize his wings and take them off as well. But because of the versatility of this, being able to orient miniatures in different ways, I think this is a really great solution for just over $100. It is cheaper than the other brands I mentioned like Jucoci and A-Case, and you're going to be able to get similar amounts of storage in here. The benefit of these other pre-made products are that, one, they're purpose-built, they're professionally made, and they have some level of customization. You kind of do with this, You can stick it on the walls and all sorts of things like that, but I wouldn't say it's as modular or customizable. But this has gotten me by for 6+ months now, and I absolutely love it. I've pretty much only good things to say about this. It's got obviously the handle, you can hold it by the edges here. It's, you know, heavy duty enough. If you really want it to be safe, you could wrap it in bubble wrap or foam if you plan to travel with it. And you can also padlock it here, which I've never done so far. But the one downside to this, the one thing that just isn't quite ideal is I find, while I haven't had any issues with it, the lock mechanisms are kind of a bit flimsy, and I'm just a bit concerned about them popping open. And similarly with the lock, where you can also apply a padlock on the individual locks, they are quite thin, and they have actually numerous times been bent to one side during transport, meaning I couldn't undo the latch. So I had to bend it back, which at the first time required pliers in order for it to be straight so I could unlatch it. I am concerned that after a few times of doing this and bending it back to fix it, that they will snap off. The metal here is not extremely thick, and so the lifespan on this is probably limited. So yeah, after all this experimenting and DIYing different solutions, I am pretty happy with the steel toolbox, but concerned for its longevity. And I wouldn't mind something that kind of is a little bit more modular. So I don't know, maybe you have like some metal trays that slide out, and if you had spares of them, you could just put them into your shelving system when you're not using them, and then quickly slot in different units or a completely different army. And this is something you can definitely do with some of the carry case solutions that are out there. But again, if $200, $300 is out of your budget, then that might just be out of the question. If that's the case, or you just love the thrill of doing things yourself, then please I encourage you to give one of these solutions a try. Use some of the links in the description if you can when purchasing these products. And let me know down in the comments below if you're going to be giving this a try, or what other alternative storage solutions you've come up with. Anyway, that's the end of the video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.